Honestly, I was quite upset when he said that.
Yep. Can you imagine?
Yeah, so intermediate was like 2019, yeah, Novice 2018, 2019 Inter, and then
2019 or 2009?
2009. Oh my god, I'm such a
Oh
such a
my
dumbass.
god. Oh my
Okay.
god.
Ah.
Before I share, right, I want to ask you, what do you feel defines a good competitor? If you were to summarize it in one word or one sentence.
A good one. A good competitor is that person who left the rotation, right, satisfied with his climb, no matter the result. Like he tried his absolute best in terms of being good. Like he did everything kind of perfectly, but what stops him is maybe just not strong enough. Yeah.
He did everything that he possibly could.
Yeah, he did everything that he possibly could, and to his best ability. Whether you're like a strong climber and like you pull super hard, like you come out from the comp and like super pumped. I think if you have done that, if you are able to do that during a comp, I think you're a good competitor.
To expand all your ammos, so to speak, right?
Yeah. But more often than not, I think not a lot of competitors are able to do that.
Yep. They kind of cap, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, why do you think that's so?
I think because they leave the comp site with a lot of regrets, like, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that.
Yeah, but why do they even put themselves in that position? Like, what leads them to be in that position to underperform and then therefore regret? What do you think is the reason they are actually underperforming, or they didn't leave everything out there, you know? There has to be something you personally attribute it to. Be it composure, be it whatever, you know?
I think it's actually very difficult to give your max, you know, your like 100%. Like no matter at what percentage you have for that day. For example, maybe you are feeling not so good during the competition day and you only have this amount, this 80%, but it's very difficult to use the whole 80% during that competition itself.
But I guess it's also because of like risk. People are not willing to take the necessary risk because they know that if they fail, they have to wait. They have to, you know. So they are not willing to go all out.
I think it takes practice.
Oh, for sure, it takes practice.
It takes practice to try your very, very, very best.
Starts from the gym, right?
Yeah, it starts from there. Like, it starts from pancake actually, like how I got to know about trying really hard.
Yep.
Is with that pancake phase. Like you're not really. Are you really trying?
If you know that you've gone through that, then you know that you're not really trying.
Yeah. If you have gone through that phase, then you kind of know what
trying hard
how hard you can actually try.
Yep.
No matter at what current status you are at.
Because of the exposure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes practice to try really hard. I don't think that everyone knows how hard they can try.
Yep. They're not even aware of what they don't know. Yeah. I do share the same view. But I do feel like, for me, how I define a good competitor for myself is that how close to peak performance can you reach, which is essentially like the same thing. But if your gym level is here, I always believe, right, because gym you're climbing with no restriction. So if you're pushing the hardest, it will always be at the gym. It will never be at a competition. Like the hardest climbs you can do are always at the gym, like gym setting. and how close to that you can achieve during the competition and how consistently you can achieve that level is what really defines a good competitor. Like you say, like, can you remove that cap? Can you try as hard? Can you perform as well? Because trying hard and performing well is two different things, right? Yeah. With the new style of setting, I feel like more often than not, trying hard does not equate to performing well, because there are too many room for there's so much room for error. You can try very hard, but you can mess up because you are very the very reason is because you are trying so hard. Yeah. I think it's worth it's really worth a thought, and that's why I was sharing with Mark. Like, I really just change my climbing approach, my competing approach to just being overqualified. I feel like that solves all the problems. It really does. Like, why leave it to chance? Why leave it to composure when if the direction of my training is I just gonna be better and stronger than everyone else, then I'm limiting the effect that external factors have on me. Then I don't have to really care about all these kind of things anymore. I can really just focus on, okay, just climbing well. I just want to climb well. That's it. End of story. Because at the end of the day, I feel like this is an interesting topic where I feel like more people lie to themselves to say that it's just not their day, things like that. Or if the rules were in the gym, they could have done it. Then reality, in my eyes, a lot of the times, if you have been performing badly for multiple comps and every comp you give the same kind of reason, it's very obvious to me that the issue doesn't lie with the competition routes or like your composure or what. The issue lies with your ability doesn't make the cut. And I feel like people need to understand, right? I don't know if you've thought about this before, but people need to understand that yes, sometimes what you say is true. If the competition route was in the gym, you could do it. But could you have done it in 4 minutes? Not. Could you have done it in 3 tries? And if the answer is no, then there you have it, right? Because it's a very big difference to do it within 3 tries and to just do it. Yeah. Not to mention the added pressure and stress of competition, being time pressed and things like that. Yeah, and the accumulation of fatigue from the other routes. Yeah. I think very, very crucial. And as of now, I don't really see anyone training like with my approach. I think the focus is still quite, and I'm not saying that my approach is correct, it just worked for me, that's it. But the focus is still on composure, is still on emotional management, things like that. I don't know what you feel about it lah. Yeah. Like, the more composed climber wins. To me, that is just noise. It really is.
I mean, you cannot be composed. You can be composed, but you can still be not strong enough.
Exactly.
Not fit enough to do the problem, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I feel like it's oversold. The whole idea of competition form, conform, like they always use the word conform, right? The idea of conform is super oversold in my books. Yeah.
I think it depends from people to people. Some people may be overqualified for
The category.
their category,
Yep.
but they are just not as composed as the weaker ones.
But it's just
like especially in novice, like it's a very interesting category where you have I mean, for this generation, it used to be novice category, you can only be climbing within the year, and then if you have climbed for more than a year, you need to move to intermediate.
like that's a prereq.
Yeah. But now it seems that if you have not podium or finals for novice, you can still be in novice. And there are plenty of super strong
Novice
climbers in novice. Like for the guys, they can do yellow at border wall, and that's like pretty
hard,
impressive.
it is.
It's really overqualified lah.
And
Like
chances,
if you can do yellows at border wall, you are really overqualified to be in novice. I cannot even call you a novice climber if you can
Yeah.
finish a yellow.
Yeah,
It just doesn't fit. It doesn't suit you.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like a novice climber would maybe at best like
In your mind, lah, in your
in my
mind.
mind maybe like
Like
what,
red.
like a heart or a heart white.
Yeah.
For example. That's like novice. That's the real definition of novice.
Yeah. It's like with the ability of a hard white, you should be able to win. That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you can do yellow and you cannot win, means you need to do some thinking, lah.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah, so there are plenty of guys like that, you know. And
Too many.
yeah, which makes it more difficult for route setters to set the novice category.
It's such a wide range,
Like
right?
you have this group of climbers who just started climbing, like the first years of climbing, and then who can barely do maybe white
Yep.
at border wall, and then you have this group of climbers who can
Can sometimes even do blues, like those easy blues.
yeah, maybe like easy blues or like
It's insane, ah.
they can flash up to reds.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's a huge gap and it's quite a big jump. I feel like there should be a separate category, you know, for these people.
For this
Like,
fake novice, ah.
Yeah, maybe like a real novice and like a super novice category or something. I don't know. I feel like the climbing community for Singapore in the competition scene, I think it has grown so much over the years from the last 10 years.
Yeah. Specifically the last 10 years, right?
Yeah, they have improved so much. Like our average climbers can really climb really well.
Well or
And-
strong?
Well and strong, I guess. Yeah, whatever. But they are in the novice category, which they don't belong, because I feel like they are taking away some medal chances for the
Yep.
other person, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, like there's no real progression to it.
Yep. Like everyone just bottlenecks there, right?
Yeah, so I guess from novice to inter to open, there's always a huge gap between each category, and within the category itself you have
There are like
different
in-betweens,
tiers. Yeah,
right?
different tiers.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's like
Even in open, there are different tiers already. Not
Yeah,
to mention
even in
novice when
open.
it's a bigger pool, right?
yeah, yeah. So it's too broad. The category is too broad, I feel.
Yep.
One thing that I do remember was when I won intermediate, and then Gary came up to me, congratulations, now you're in open. You're nobody to anyone in open.
You're what?
You're nobody. You're, in his exact words, you are chicken shit to the rest of the open climbers.
So he's saying that you have no standard now, like you have no standing now.
Yeah, but I won intermediate. Like I crushed everyone. I had 4 tops, and the second place climber had 1 top. And like
But you're still chicken shit. ah.
yeah, but I'm still chicken shit. So I'm like overqualified for intermediate, and then
But do you
but
agree
I'm
with him?
chicken shit. Honestly, I was quite upset when he said that.
Yep. Can you imagine?
Yeah, so intermediate was like 2019, yeah, novice 2018, 2019 inter, and then
2019 or 2009?
2009. Oh my god, I'm such a
No,
such a
my
dumbass.
god. Oh my god.
Okay, 2008 is novice,
Okay.
2009 is intermediate.
So
Back to so I was chicken shit to the rest of the open climbers,
yep.
which I basically just crushed in the intercom.
Yep. Yeah, I asked you,
Yeah,
do you
yeah.
agree with it, right?
Yeah, so I was quite upset lah when
Yep.
he said that. So throughout my climbing journey, like 2008 novice and then 2009 Inter, and then 2010 it was my debut year of Open.
Yep.
My chicken shit year.
And were you really chicken shit?
I got into Open finals. Yeah, so I think it's partly because of Gary, because he said that I'm a nobody in the Open scene, that got me psyched lah, like to really prove him wrong, you know. And true enough, I mean, even though I got into Open finals, the next year, I think I got in by luck lah. Like, I qualified 5th, was last, with 0 bonus, 0 tops, and the second last placing got at least a top.
That's shit.
Yeah, so I guess I am still chicken shit. So from then on, I didn't get into any finals for a long time.
Until like 2012.
I think like 2012. Yeah, 2012, and then I finally got my break, like finals. Finally get into finals and then on the podium. Yeah, it took me that long.
2 to 3 years.
Yeah, 2 years in the Open.
Yep.
Yeah, to finally stand on the podium. Or back then, actually, wanting to be in finals, or like being in the finals, means you have already won the competition.
Right, like in your heart, it's like,
Yeah,
like my heart is full, right?
yeah, it's like, oh my god, I'm in Open finals. Like, I'm done. I'm done with climbing.
Yeah, I can retire already.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Because I think, in my former years, when I was in Novice and then I watched Open finals, I was like, oh, I want to be in Open finals. I don't care if I win or not. It's a great performing stage.
Yep.
Where
just good showmanship.
Yeah, and it's just really good showmanship, especially at Rockmaster, where they do really cool, like campus 360 and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yep.